You're listening to the Mashup Americans.
Hey, I'm Rebecca Lair, Aquarius Sun, Gemini Moon, Cancer Rising.
And I'm Amy Choi, Taurus Sun, Taurus Moon, and Virgo Rising. And we are the Mashup Americans. Oh, boy. I mean, some people really know what this means, is what I'm saying. So this week we are talking about the universe, the sun, the moon, the stars, and of course, how it all relates to the most important thing, which is me. I mean, us. And definitely us. Definitely all of us.
Yeah, because it's hard sometimes in American culture, which is so individualistic and ambitious. And I'm going to say it, we all hearing it, pretty lonely, to kind of remember that we're part of something so much bigger than us. And it's kind of as big as the whole universe and like many universes.
All the universe. I mean, sometimes you look up at the stars and it's like, holy shit, I'm so tiny. This is terrifying. And then, you can also look up at the stars and think, holy shit, I'm so tiny. And it's so beautiful out there, like how we're all connected. And we have these little spaces in this big giant world.
Oh my God, those Webb telescope images.
Oh boy.
My God.
Really? Perspective, huh?
Wow. Some big universe is making some beautiful artwork. So that's what our guest today, the fabulous astrologer Chani Nicholas, she does for us. She helps us see our place in the world and hear what the stars are telling us, not just us. She has a New York Times best-selling book called You Were Born for This, and her Chani app has more than 1 million monthly users. And she's going to tell us about how we refresh and regenerate ourselves with the new moon that is happening soon. Plus, her readings are
so rude.
They're so rude in their accuracy.
It was almost a problem, but we were so excited. Here's Chani.
Chani, we are extremely thrilled to have you here because we've been following you for years, both as a thinker and a voice in the world and an astrologer, and also a great at memes. Just like so good at memes.
I mean, I think I'm only good at reposting memes. I don't think I'm good at making them myself. I just want to clarify.
Well,
but you're a curator of the World Wide Web.
Just to be clear, also, we're elder millennials / whatever that generation Catalano. And we don't know how one would even make a meme. So the idea of you, I didn't even know there was anything different. So
okay, you're going to get totally kicked out of the millennial club because y'all created memes.
No, yeah. I just want you to show me what's funny and then I slide through. Between you and Adrienne Marie Brown, I don't need...
We're like meme siblings, I feel like.
Oh,
yeah.
We were lucky to have her on the show last season talking about grief. That was our whole season. And we were calling her our meme lord. But I feel that there's a meme queens, the two of you together. So
meme lord, meme queen. Love it. It's
extremely into it.
Thank you. Wow.
What was your kind of pivotal moment, Chani, for looking at the stars? Like, when did you know that this world was for you, that you could be a translator of it to other people?
I mean, there's a couple different stories. One is that I encountered astrology when I was 12 years old. An astrologer was reading my entire family, but it was like a new family formation. My dad was on his third marriage and she had kids and I had known them my whole life, but then all of a sudden we were siblings, and my new stepmother's mother was a Reiki master and all of her friends were like weirdos and psychics and tarot readers and blah, 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 and astrologers. So she sent us to get an astrology reading, and the astrologer started talking and I was like, what is this? I know this, or this is like, this makes so much sense to me. And, everyone else was like, oh yeah, whatever. And I was just like riveted. And she had written a book and my dad got it for me. And that was the beginning. That was my gateway drug. And then I just was like obsessed with it. Although I didn't grow up on the internet, so I didn't have access to, you had to like find books on astrology, which wasn't so easy. That grandmother figure person had a lot. So she eventually got me into classes and stuff like that. And I gave readings when I was, a teenager and in my early 20s, but I didn't have the confidence for it. And it took me a long time to say yes to it. I was very old when I finally was like, okay, fine, I'll try this as a career, because nothing else was working out. And I just felt like a failure at life. And I just felt like I had this huge ambition and huge creative drive. And everywhere I put it, it just fell flat. And it was so disorienting to me. And then when I finally said yes to astrology, it was like everything worked out. But it was like I was like at the end of my 30s.
Well, first of all, now we know why the name of your book is You Were Born for This. It does feel that there was something you were born for. But also one of the things that I always observe, even as I'm taking the details of what you're saying, is knows so much. Like the ability that you're so knowledgeable. Like it clearly took a long time to learn the things that you know now, and that maybe you had to be at that life stage to be able to do it in a way that people could receive it. Because I feel like I'm like, wow, how did she even connect those? I don't know that I know anything that well. That's one of my takeaways every time.
I had a lot of teachers in my life from a really young age. And my greatest fortune, I think, in life is that I desire growth, and I'm willing to be uncomfortable in ways that are necessary for growth to occur. And I always wanted to get out of the really dysfunctional situations that I was born into or grew up through. And so that part of me that was like, fuck this, I'm out, I gotta go search for something, is always the seeking. And it's been the part that's helped me the most. And it's also the part that I'm really grateful for my ability to know that this was a teacher, and that I should sit at their feet and I should listen and shut up and get as much as I could from them. And so, when I met that person, my stepmom's mom, I just followed her wherever she went, and I would do anything she let me do with her. So the moment she let me take a Reiki course with her, I did. I was 14 years old. And every single course she let me take, I would take. And everywhere she invited me to, I would go. And I just needed the healing so badly. I just needed to be around an adult that had dedicated her life to her own healing, and then also facilitating healing spaces for other people. And it just fit with me in such a profound way. And I think each of us has that, and it gets turned on at some point. And so whatever we have to struggle with, or whatever it is we have to carry, it's our ability to, I think, locate the door out, or the person that's going to be the bridge to the next thing. That's what saves us. It's that part of us. It's not the person, but it's the part of us that's willing to do whatever it takes to learn, to grow, to develop, and to be uncomfortable in necessary ways.
Oh, I love that so much. I'll cry. I think that there's also like, what a lesson also to be humble, to like have the humility to sit at a teacher's feet. I think that's part of the thing that makes people so uncomfortable, is that we're all expected to know everything.
Wait, that was one thing in your book about one of the
it's
readings.
Okay not to know.
It was an Aquarius sun. And I wrote to another woman in our team who's also an Aquarius sun. But I was like, she said it's okay not to know the answers to everything. And I'm like, is it?
She's a liar.
I do need to know.
But I think that idea, okay, so like You Were Born for This, which this is the title of your book. Everybody should get it. It was published in 2020 and it came out alongside your app. The two of them go together. And I just think this idea of being born for something encapsulates the seeking that you're talking about. We're all, and I think the challenge is that so many people don't know that they just feel like a gnawing, like hunger or dissatisfaction with something, but that being willing to surrender to the search is, I think, very difficult in the world that we live in.
It's difficult, and it's also so necessary. And I sometimes I cringe at my own, ideas or that title, because it's like, also there's no pressure, the meaning of your life is like to be of service. I think like the meaning of your life is to have some fun and understand yourself. And the meaning of life, I think, is to show up and help each other and to try to, make meaning out of our suffering in some way, but also no pressure with that. It's like there's a way in which these really good ideas, and then they get on the internet, and then they get taken by storm, and then they get co-opted in capitalism, and then everything feels just like another thing on our to-do list. So I heard Liz Gilbert once say, maybe the meaning of my life was to go like hold a ladder for a guy once who was like fixing a sign, and I felt like he might be on a faulty kind of, like maybe that was the entire meaning of my life. And I get what she's saying. I will push back against that, but I want people to grow and develop themselves and pursue their passions. But also, I think we get it twisted. And I think also sometimes younger folks, I hear them put such a emphasis on things and want it all to fit into like a neat little box, and it just doesn't. It's messy, and it's got its own fucking timing, and you might not figure it out till you're 72. So what are you going to do? You're going to be depressed until you're going to feel like you're not worth anything until then. Like, what if that happens? And I had to really struggle with that, like being at the end of my 30s and being like, it hasn't hit yet, and maybe it won't until I'm 60. So how am I going to live my life? Or, I think we just have this way of putting so much pressure on ourselves. And as an astrologer, there is a mark that you were born under. And it is, to me, essential that you find the ways that you need to go towards that and to let it express itself and let it show you what it wants to do. You're the facilitator of this thing. And that creative energy that moves through all things, that moves through you, wants to express itself in a very unique way. And that's your job. I think that's the sole meaning of your life.
It is really interesting, again, elder millennials, so apologies to the younger people too, but is this sort of main character energy thing that the internet has, and feeling like you have to tell that story, right? That like, that it has to be like
glorious,
concise and clear and for everyone. Yeah. And it's just one of the joys that we've found. Even, you think about even the jokes like, I can't believe I survived that, but you did. And it's also, I don't wish some of those things. Some are funny things and some I don't wish on anyone, or I'm worried that my children will experience, or all those things.
Oh my God.
But I also know, like, they're also like part of my fabric and the quilt of who I am. But there are many funny ones where like, oh my God, we just like went to that party and what were we even doing? I just got on someone's motorcycle. Who was that man? Like, you know what I mean? What happened?
Okay, so for your kind of chart, I will often, in a reading be like, so have you had any like near-death experiences? Or like, there's a way in which your chart is kind of set up to edge towards a little catastrophe, or just like be on the precipice of like, is this the place where it all goes dark now? Like,
ding, 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 ding. Also, once again, Chani's so rude because I'm like, I can't. I have to pick up every phone call because I'm like, is this where it ends? Is this where it all goes down?
Wait, but I think this is actually the thing that as literally we were all like texting each other, being like, oh no, I understand myself, I am seen. Like, that's the experience, I think, of reading your book, of just being like, oh, here, that's right, that's me. Or like that experience of being kind of understood, or that we are a puzzle piece that fits into the world. Yeah. And for me, it feels like that's the great appeal of an in-depth astrology. Rebecca and I were talking, like, when was the first time you ever like saw a horoscope, or even it was introduced to the idea? And she was remembering like reading it alongside the comics.
Oh, but I read it every day. I read it every day. Like, that was the only thing I read in the newspaper. And I'm a very bright person who knows about the world.
As an Aquarius.
But at that time, for sure.
But I was like, I remember reading my horoscope, like my monthly horoscope in Sassy. Or like, that was what it was.
You'll get your period in front of a boy,
and
but
you should definitely not talk to him that time. But just, I was like, I am seen by my chart. Like, I understand what's happening. Rebecca actually got me a reading for my birthday this year.
this year from
This year.
somebody you recommended, somebody on your team recommended.
Oh, how lovely.
British
It was
lady.
so wonderful. It really does, like, it repeated itself, right? Like those ideas echoed again when rereading your book about just like, oh, I'm here to build and fully enjoy a life of pleasure and productivity.
Okay.
And I was like, thank you.
Wait, what about the cycle that you were in, Amy? That you're in a different cycle now.
That I am something with my son in the house that it's in. I find myself and I need to express myself by traveling or exploring the world.
Yes,
and
your ninth house. Yeah.
So I took 18 months, like 2 years backpacking when I was 30. And then she was saying that now in this cycle, like entering into 44, right when like I actually did start traveling again. This was the first time this summer I took, like, the kids used their passport for the first time we went to El Salvador. It was the first international trip since the pandemic. And I was like, oh, but it's starting. It's happening again.
Yeah.
I'm like
because
back
you're in
into
a
my
ninth
year.
house year. Yes. I see. You're in a ninth house year. Then that would be good. That's fun.
It feels really fun.
Yeah. Yeah. You go from that to 10th house year. You're on the upswing right now.
Oh, I love an upswing. We deserve it. One of the things that we talk about being deeply rooted in traditions and then also looking forward. And we're in a world of like, what is AI? It's just like predictive information, predictive technologies, something that we're all sort of optimizing life or figuring out the future things. And I want to just have a conversation with us about like what the tools we have in front of us, like something like astrology, can do for us. What are the options it gives us, or the framework that's different than expecting us to tell us the future. And I think that's something that we're in a societal stage, I don't know, where the society keeps expecting like we're going to know everything that comes because of technology or something, when in fact there's so much that's not predictable. And also at the same time, humans do the same shit over and over and over again. So a lot is predictable about humanity. And I just something that I'm wrestling with, or I'm feeling that tension. And I want to talk about that here. That's sort of a laying the groundwork for that. Like how, if you've been thinking about that, or how you think about astrology as a tool, as opposed to, or maybe sometimes as a predictive, a framework versus a predictive.
One of the ways in which we use astrology is to be predictive. So this is one of the things. It's maybe one of the problems with it as well. And so I do think a lot about that, because on the app, every week I give a reading for each rising sign and talk about how to use the astrology of that week. And I, of course, try not to be too, tight or too like, this is going to happen, because I don't know what's going to happen to you. But this is what the sky is saying. And so a reflection of that might land like this in your life. And these might be some good things to do to like either, matrix out of it, or like work with it and make the most of what it is. So that's how I approach it. So it's definitely a predictive tool. But I think what I notice as an astrologer and what as a human being is so important is to remember that there is like a great mystery at work, and that we are connected to it and we are vehicles for it. And we can do all of this stuff to make our life convenient and to try to be in control of everything. But there is something so much more powerful than that is always going to kind of take us out at the knees when we get too big for our britches. And we're in this moment of massive environmental catastrophe, and we are actually in a moment where we're grappling with if we're going to let ourselves go extinct or not, I think. And that is something that is like looming and ever present. And I think we need to stay desperately, tenaciously in a place of solution and fighting for all the things that we can save. But we also have to grapple with this thing in which we've tried to control everything, industry and capitalist consumerism and patriarchy and white supremacy. Colonization has tried to extract and control nature to such a degree that now nature's like, payback.
Get ready, bitches. Get ready.
Yeah, like coming home.
You
to
want it
roost
to be
now.
95 degrees and then also 40 degrees the next day. Good luck.
Yeah. So we're really grappling with so much now. And we're still, I think it's important to remember we're still in the mystery of it, and that, you know, we could still choose life over the death machines that we are in, the systems that we're in. But I think when I watch the astrology unfold, I can look at it and be like, oh, this is going to be a time where, like, say for this summer, for example, we had the Venus retrograde. So Venus is a planet of love and connection, and also women and femmes and LGBTQIA community and all of that. So we know gender, you know, things about gender are going to be up because we live in this situation. So
I love that. We live in this situation.
You know, like
this is where we are.
But the men create calendars that don't make any sense, and the whole world organizes itself around it. And so we knew, like, okay, so these are the themes, but, you know, so Barbie comes out the day Venus is stationing retrograde. It makes the most money that a female director has ever made. It is bananas. Just like everyone's going back to the theater. Everyone's dressing up. We've got Beyonce, we've got Taylor Swift, we've got just women just breaking boundaries and shattering molds and reviving the economy. And then we've also got Venus's art. And it was in Leo all summer. So that's the sign of the performer. So then we've got the WGA SAG-AFTRA strikes, right? And Venus is the planet of union and connection. And so it's literally talking about a union and, you know, groups of people and what justice. It's the planet that is connected to justice because it rules Libra. So anyways, so I didn't, you know, I didn't know that all those things were going to happen. But then as they happen, you're like, oh my God, this is so fucking wild. And then there was all those breakups, like the celebrity breakups.
Yes.
Like bananas.
Wait, who are all the breakups this summer?
Rosalia.
Oh.
And Raul Alejandro.
Natalie Portman. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Jonas and Sophie Who's-he-whatsies.
I heard, yeah, Tina Knowles even got.
No. Well, we're gonna have to cut this out because we have not done the research. We got to do some. We can't be chismeando here without. It's just some details.
It is an extensive list. If you look from June, especially like July and August, like things just got. I mean, it was just like every week. The Prime Minister of Canada got a divorce. Never.
Oh yeah, Justin Trudeau.
Yeah. So you know.
Oh yes, they did get it. Oh my God, yeah. Tina.
I do think that there's something about allowing ourselves to have a relationship with the cosmos actually allows us to have better relationships here.
Yeah.
Like in our little itty bitty, I don't know what it is. Is it about giving ourselves context or just like understanding better that we're in relationship to all different kinds of things and maybe we can understand them or maybe we don't. But it makes me feel more open.
Yeah.
To whatever may come.
Yeah.
You know, I was watching the Indian Matchmaker show on Netflix.
Love.
And you know how they always go to the guy who's like, he like looks at the person's face.
Yes, the face reader.
And he reads it and he's like, absolutely not. This is very no. Amy hasn't seen it and I was trying to explain to her.
Oh my God, it's so good. You have to watch it.
Oh, he's like, this is very inauspicious. Like it's always like, no, they cannot even talk to each other.
That's
We've
right.
gotta go. And she's always
no
like,
nuance.
Oh, and she's always like, she's like, correct. Yeah. Okay. She just like rips up the headshot and throws it out. And I'm curious, what makes sort of an American interest in astrology culturally different than, say, Indian matchmaking or a place where it's more embedded in
or like
culture?
the Chinese zodiac.
Yeah.
So Americans were very indoctrinated in, of course, like rugged individualism. So we use it to develop ourselves and our own sense of self and life purpose and what we're born for. You know, like my book is a very American-esque, North American take on astrology because I'm saying you're an individual, you have a mark, you have a calling. And hopefully my work is also like, please show up for the collective and be a good community member and like, don't be a selfish asshole. That's the underlying statement of everything.
You did a good job.
Thanks.
It is.
But definitely, you know, like America's obsession with it is to just have ever more reflections of self. And so we can use that for our betterment collectively. We can use it to feel more like affirmed, and that is important. But then it also tips over into being like just incredibly obnoxious and self-absorbed. So it's all like, you know, it's how we use everything. We use it for ourselves, but hopefully that awakens something within us that reminds us that we have this great wealth of talent, energy, purpose, and we can then share it. So I'm always hoping for that kind of pendulum swing to happen. That if you have a purpose and a calling, then, maybe you'll move more quickly to be of service with it. Because we all have service to do. We all have jobs in the world, but it's better if we feel like, ooh, this is like something that excites me. This is something that makes me feel alive. Then people are also going to respond to it better. And then it can help make shifts, and it can, wake you up, wake hopefully other people up. So I do feel like it's a domino effect. So to whatever end, we don't use it only for our own self-congratulatory or like myopic need to focus on ourselves.
You mean how we're like,
yes.
Chani, so we need to talk about my
side?
Yeah. But we're endlessly fascinating too,
yes,
to ourselves. Because it is self-discovery. If you dig deep, you do find, I hope, some kind of God, some kind of universal truth, right? Like that's what great art is. It's specific, but it's universal. And so that's what astrology, I think, can help us get to if we've got that desire.
I mean, any tool to help us get to ourselves.
Yeah.
And organize the chaos, right? That's also, the organizing the chaos is important.
Yes, that's correct.
As said the Virgo rising with Saturn on her ascendant. My God.
Well, I think, okay, so we are entering into the fall. There will be a new moon soon. How do we prepare? We love a new beginning.
Love a new moon. One of the first things I started putting out was a new moon workshop. And so I wanted people to be like, if you wanted to celebrate or mark the new moons, because symbolically they're good times to begin things or to initiate something. They're the beginning of a lunar cycle. And they're small enough, 28 days, that you can work with it. And also, I'm Jewish, and every month Jews mark the new moon. It's like a huge deal, like that head of the month. And if a holiday or Shabbat falls on a new moon, it's an even bigger deal. So I do feel like it's baked into a lot of people's. I feel like just as a human, we were always paying attention to these cycles because they also taught us where we were in time and space and calendars and math and just like what time of year it is. So every week I give a reading in the Chani app, but on new moons and full moons, they're kind of special because we give a new moon ritual and we have, journal prompts to work with. We have those every week, but I think setting an intention or just having a moment, like a new moon is a blank slate. You can't see the moon. So if you can think of that symbolically with your life, like just hitting refresh. It's like press refresh on your life. Like let's just go dark for a second. If you think about following the cycles, go dark, get quiet, listen. What wants to come forth next? And then as the moon starts to take shape in the sky and give us more light, then you kind of come out with it. But I think letting ourselves kind of go back to neutral with that is really helpful. And then, in the readings on the app, I tell you where that new moon is happening for you and what might be some good things to do with it. And I try to be excessively practical and very concise and not too complicated so that you can actually do it in your life. And I think the simpler things are, and the more we can fold them into our life, the easier it is to do them. And then the more meaning we can kind of experience from them, because we can get into a ritual with them and just be like, oh yeah, this new moon. And then, every month you're like, oh yeah, this is how.
That's what they say the science of habits is too, or like getting in good. It's exactly that, which is like, what are the things that you can just fold in and make happen with not too much thought, but some intention.
Yeah, not too much complication at all.
I love that.
Well, I already have thought I need to buy a moon calendar just for my house to have up. So I'm very just immediately aware of each cycle of the moon. And it's just such a joy to get to talk to you. It's just one of the great things for us as mashups is figuring out, like we said, wisdom traditions and ways that we can find to kind of support making beauty and what we want a beautiful life to look at. And this is, you're doing such a wonderful, such a mitzvah.
Such a service.
You're really sharing so much light and love to so many people in such a joyful, fun, exactly yourself way. It's clear to me that's why you found it. That's why we found you. You found your flow. And now you flowed to us. So thank you.
Chani, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
much.
What a joy.
Thank you, Chani. We are seen, and your rudeness in knowing us and your generosity in guiding us knows no bounds.
Chani can be found on all the socials at Chani Nicholas. Her book is You Were Born for This, and the Chani app is available everywhere. And next week, we have one of the great American journalists, the fantastic, the brilliant, the beautiful Lisa Ling, talking about living with her Korean mother-in-law and plant medicine. Make sure to catch the rest of The Ultimate Guide to a Mashup Life. We'll have episodes every week, all fall. Like and follow the Mashup Americans wherever you get your pods, and tell your friends. And if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, do it. mashupamericans.com/subscribe. Love you.
This podcast is a production of the Mashup Americans. It is executive produced by Amy S. Choi and Rebecca Lehrer. Senior editor and producer is Sarah Pellegrini. Production manager is Shelby Sandlin. Thanks to DJ Rob Swift for our theme song, Salsa Scratch. Additional engineering support by Pedro Rafael Rosado. Please make sure to follow and share this show with your friends. Bye!